Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We will be trying to get into orbit today. I have made some modifications to our rocket by upgrading the launch pad off camera, and that just allows better tonnage to be lifted off from there. And we'll be using solid rocket boosters this time. One, because that keeps the part count low and allows us to use the parts elsewhere in the structure and the main body here to prolong our fuel burn on the main stage. So let's go ahead and get this thing launched and see about getting us into orbit as our first step and trying to get a decent amount of science from it. So we will start about quarter thrust with our main thrusters here, and off we go. It is a little heavy, and I do have the solid rocket booster set to about 50% thrust. I just need them to get me into the air as high as possible, and then we'll switch over to the liquid fuel engines themselves, and a nice decent pace into space would be an ideal for me, at least. That way I can try and keep the throttle of the main engine as low as possible and as long as possible, so that we have more fuel to use at higher altitudes. At least that's my theory. I don't know if I'm doing this right anymore. I feel like I have failed going into orbit one too many times already for someone who has played this game before. But hopefully that won't happen again. So I'm going to go ahead and start tilting over to probably the 60-degree mark here. If the rocket will actually let me do it. I'm going full tilt right now, and it's just a nice slow turn. I'm going to have to spin up here just to get rid of these. There we go. And now I'm going the wrong direction because I am confused as to which direction I needed to be going. Perfect. Okay, full burn. And let's get this thing really flat here for this section. As we burn up all of our main stage fuel, we might not have been going quick enough, which is a little surprising. I really needed this thing to hit 75,000 meters. And it only reached 71,000 there. Oh well. We'll just jettison it now. Save some weight. And, you know, let's just keep burning. We'll do this nice slow burn all the way up here. In fact, we could probably go 90 degrees, just so we can start working on getting that extended out a little bit. Alright, let's speed up time so we can get up to about 75,000 as high as possible, so that the efficiency is increased. And then we'll just keep it at half thrust for now. Angle slightly down. That might increase its efficiency since we're behind the apoapse of the orbit line. Come on, get there, get there, get there. Okay. So that is an orbit. We're actually in orbit now. We don't have very much fuel, but we don't need much to drop back down. When we go to the new sign and just lower our periaps downwards, at that point we'll re-enter the atmosphere and no longer be able to maintain this orbit. Since we're in orbit, might as well do some science. And let us open up the service bay. Observe the mystery goo. And take a temperature reading. Don't really need to do that, I guess. Pressure data. Don't need to do that. Crew report. Don't need to do that. So, only got one little bit of science from space here. We'll wait until we're maybe above another section of the planet. We can just speed up time here and go around and around as quickly as we want. Is there other relay places on Kerbin that I don't know about? Like, is there another launch pad there or something? That'd be pretty interesting. So we're on the backside of the planet. We've never been this far before. Doesn't look like... It looks like we're probably too high to get specific biome readings. So we'll just go ahead and basically just complete the mission at this point. That'd probably be the best thing for us. Okay. Now we are going to burn and try and lower this orbit down. As slowly as possible. And see how far we get. I think 38's perfect. I don't know where we're going to end up, really. If I had to guess, we're going to really be burning up the atmosphere here, and I would probably assume we're going to land right about here. It's on the dark side of the planet. I don't know if that's over land or not. But let's go ahead and watch as we go around. I do love the music transition the game has. Alright, so it kicked us out of speed here as we enter the atmosphere. Let us... I need to change some staging here. There we go. Perfect. I had to get rid of the rest of the fuel there. That might end up hitting us on the way down. And we can look over. Now, I wouldn't mind getting some of the mods to make, you know, some cloud coverage or something like that. But I wanted to do this just clean in 1.2. 1.2, I think, is going to be a great patch for the game for you guys. Let us speed up even more here. As we enter the atmosphere, we're almost to the upper atmosphere. Coming down now. And let's see where we might be landing. It looks like we might be getting there. Our periaps is just falling slowly. And we are now burning in the atmosphere here. Now, does this have a blade of material? It doesn't look like it. And there's only 2 landing gear. I apparently didn't put the third one on. Okay. You did not like that camera angle. So we'll just come through here. Watch as the periaps falls. More and more. So we're definitely captured by Kerbin. There's pretty much no escaping it now. How about a crew report from here? Perfect. Full bar, 4.5. Science. Now I would like to open this bay and potentially get science from there, but I want to wait until the heat effects wear off. They're not really going to do us any good. Wow, we are just cooking. We might be missing the land here. I'm going to speed up time. This is quite the shallow descent. And we are just turning red hot. How's the ablative material? Just fine. We're hopefully not going to have any explosions on this one. You can just hear that wind rushing by. In fact, if you look inside, you can see the heat effects. This is the only thing Jebediah sees. I'm going to spin over so you can see the ground at least. Nice. See home. Make sure you're still aligned to everything. Yes? We're good. Alright, we're definitely going to overshoot we went right back over the launch site. I'm a little surprised. I didn't plan that at all. So we're going to overshoot it and land in the ocean. We might not get any extra science for this because of it. Speed up time some more just so we're done burning up. I hope everyone down there got a nice little view of the rocket coming back in. We will open up our containers and observe some goo. We'll get just a little bit of science out of this. As we come down, I think 10,000 meters is when we'll pop the parachute here. We can just let it drift on down and splash into the ocean. We can see about our science. We'll probably get a decent amount just from orbiting Kerbin, from the mission reward itself. Yep, not really gonna get any extra science. It seems like we've pretty much been to all these areas before. We splash down nice and neat into the ocean here. We might get a little bit from the water. Nope. Okay. So that is it for orbiting Kerbin. Let us recover the vessel at this stage. And we got 83 science. It's not the most efficient thing in the world, but recovering the vessel gave us 10, which is nice. Crew report, things like that. Parts. Crew. Jebediah is level 1 now, so that's nice. I don't know really what leveling them up does. So we completed that mission. We can now look at possibly going to the moon. Now, okay, so this is just fly by the moon. And that is something we could do. Sometimes, let's see. We only have to do a flyby. Does it say exactly how high? Probably within 80,000 meters. That's not too hard. Rewards are pretty good. Completion is pretty good. 15 science. And we could get some great science while we're out there. Tell you what. We've orbited. We don't need anything else around Kerbin at this time. I think we might as well just go to the moon. Now to do so, I'm going to have to upgrade the vehicle assembly bay. And we're also going to need advanced rocketry probably. Just so we can get the Terrier liquid fuel engine. This is going to be our main shuttlecraft here. So we researched that. Struts really wasn't going to do much for us. Science and things. Fuel systems. Getting a fuel duct would have been great as well. So let us try something. We have another mission, and that is to test the LV-T45 swivel splash down at Kerbin. So if we just kind of launch and splash down, we'll be able to complete that mission there. So let's go ahead and give that a shot real quick. It shouldn't take too long. We'll just switch some parts around. So here's the test function here. We don't need the science bay really. And we just need the smallest fuel tank as possible to just allow us to stage. We'll zoom in here. Okay. So we'll get a little coupling. And we'll get just a nice solid rocket booster to get us over to the water. Some fins, probably a must-have. Just so we can control this a little bit easier. Do we have any ones that can actually turn? No. Okay, we'll see. So we're just gonna regulate this to 40% thrust. I think that'll be good. And, you know, we'll just overkill it on the parachutes. Just because this engine is a little heavy. So let's give this a go. Make sure our staging is correct. Nope, it's not. So boom, to there, to firing the rocket. We need these before the firing the rocket though, so that we actually land. And off we go. Just add a quick... We're just gonna basically float over. Oh no. Oh no. And we're dead. Okay, no. Let's revert to launch again and do probably a slider angle so we can actually gain height first. That would have been probably pretty smart. Okay, up we go. Turning too soon meant that there was no way for me to pull up. This isn't a swivel engine, so it's kind of dictated just by aerodynamics. There we go. That's a little bit of a safer height and angle here. And plus, more height that we have, the better suited we will be to deploy our parachutes in time. Okay, we are now going in a ballistic trajectory from the launch pad out into the ocean. If there was a submarine or something out there, boy, it would be in some trouble. And at this point, we're going to start going down. Not a major problem. I had to wait for this engine to shut off. There we go. Slowing down so I can use the parachutes. Alright, I think 5 meters per second is a good speed, so the engine will survive that. I do like the look of the 3 parachutes open at once, especially since they fixed the lighting bug with it all. So we'll just come down here. What is this? This is some type of manual, huh? Rocketry basics. Looks like a proper help guide for people starting out. That's good. Wish that was there when I first started playing the game. And we'll just splash down here. And now we can test the rocket, and we did. I don't know why they wanted to test it in the water. I mean, that's a little weird. So we'll recover this real quick, get some stuff for it at least. Mainly money. Then mission control, more tests and things. Stacked coupler, orbiting Kerbin. We're not going to be going into orbit. We'll be going straight to the moon. Which means I'm going to have to go to the tracking station and take a look here at where the moon is. Now, ideally, we would want the moon within our vision right here. So we're going to speed up time. We went a little too far. Still too far. I'm having trouble getting this thing to spin at a decent rate so that we can see the moon. Okay, so there's the moon. And we want it a little bit behind us. Something like that. Okay. So we'll leave the facility, and from here, we have to quickly assemble a craft that will take us to the moon. We barely got into orbit, and now we're going to the moon. Goodness sakes. Alright, science. Let's get our payload back here. And we'll use the move tool again. And then we will grab... Oh, we already got the parachute on there. Don't need more than one, though. Survival, 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 survival. Some of this stuff, I just get lost in all the menus. Open this up. And let's bring some science. So we need one in deep space, and we need one at the moon itself. Actually, we need more. Boom, and boom. So something like that. Electrical. That might be a problem. We might not have the electric charge to get there. It's gonna be one of those hope we do when we arrive. Does this give us electric charge? It doesn't look like it. Does this? Yes. So, alright, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. So this coupling here. And this is going to have, I guess this is going to have our intermediate fuel tank here. So this is the fuel tank that we'll be using to finish going to the moon and work on coming back. Because we only have to interact with the moon. We don't have to necessarily orbit it. So if we just shoot alongside of the moon and then come back around to Kerbin, I think we'll be okay. So we'll give it that little engine there for any course correcting. Now at this stage, we will build the main fuel tank that's going to get us there. Okay, it's alt. Great. So we got a swivel. And we will be using more boosters than we probably need. Over-engineering it is probably going to be a good idea. You know, let's take that off real quick. So the center engine is the only one that really needs to swivel. Which means these outer 4 can just change into the liquid. But also, I want to actually probably use some solid rocket boosters as well. So these boosters are going to really help us get off the launch pad itself, just like before. If I can get these centered right. And we can just drop these down. And then we'll get 2 of these as liquid. Yeah, and we're gonna have a few stages for sure. And these ones will just be the normal Reliant engines. Obviously, we don't have the support structure, so I want to try and get all these little engine bays nice and even so the weight can be distributed. Alright, pretty good. Now normally, how I normally get to the moon is if I had the fuel connections, I would just drain the fuel from the left and the right tanks into the center tanks and just use them as boosters, but we're gonna have all 3 pretty much firing at once. However, we're going to just limit this one's thrust. What's shroud? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing right there. So these are gonna go 100% thrust. 100% of the time. They're going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. In fact, we can put 2 fins on them or something like that. I mean, we increased the part count to 255, so we have a lot of flexibility now. That's just as long as we don't go over the weight limit. It doesn't look like we will. Now, is there anything else that I can think of to bring along so we don't explode? You know, I haven't used it. No, I don't want an antenna. That might consume power. What's this do? This cools nearby parts. So is that just for re-entry more so than anything? Or into space? I don't know. I don't know what that's for. I've never seen that part in my life. So, let us check out what we have here. So these 2 will decouple first. These engines will probably fire. We won't use the main one until space itself. Decouple. These ones will decouple last, allowing us to use the main engine, and then up here, use the tiny engine to get us to and fro. Yeah, that's good for me. I hope this works. If not, we'll probably end the episode on another failure. But hey, at least we orbited the planet. So we're getting there. So let's start quarter thrust. Really gonna rely on those solid ones to get us up there into speed. Looking good. It's not shaking too much. We got quite the rocket plume going on. And we're already approaching 200 meters a second, so I think this is going to be a good launch. This could definitely orbit Kerbin. I don't know about getting to the moon. Alright, so those boosters are gone. We will now rely on these, which do not have any swivel. That's okay. I can use the gyroscope a little bit here just to get us going. As long as we're picking up speed, I'm okay. You know, let's go full burn. Take a look at this. The moon is still behind us. So we're going to end up wasting a lot of fuel probably to get there. Which is fine. I think I brought enough. Just need to try and get our apoaps way up there now. And those will just float back away from the ship. And let us take a look at setting. Okay, so we don't have any maneuver nodes. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, we're gonna have to do this kind of blind here. Let us see. Where's the moon? There it is. It's right behind the sun. So if we start burning now, pretty much just keep this aligned. In theory, this should propel us to the moon. And I hope it does. It's going to be quite the long burn. And since I don't have maneuver nodes unlocked, it's going to be a shot in the dark. Definitely a shot in the dark here. I'm going to have to upgrade our comm satellite or something for the future. Come on, get there. Really get that up there. We're probably doing this rather inefficiently, but that's okay. I'm not really overly worried about it. It's just worth a shot, because I have to relearn all this Kerbal Space Program stuff. This has been that long. Alright, so we're really reaching that high apoaps. Alright, little poodle engine. Let's get us there. Is it a poodle? No, it's a terrier. Getting my dog breeds messed up. Now we are slightly below the orbit line. Concerning. See if I can raise that on the way. Well, you can see just how much we missed the moon here. In theory, if we maybe orbit a couple times, we might get it. To actually get there, though, we would probably... I just need to be able to set orbits here. If I go back to the Space Center in time and see about upgrading it. Like so. And then going back into our ship. Wow, we can really see all of our connection points there. Now, let us see. Oh! Would you look at that? Upgrading that is what we needed. So that actually gave us the information we wanted. That's great. Now the moon periapse is a little high for my liking. Okay, so that is increasing it. I want to decrease it, so we probably need to slow down a little bit. I just overshot the moon. So the moon periapse, let's get it in the hundreds. We'll probably get more science for it. Wow, I'm happy. I'm happy that I did not botch this completely. That's gonna circularize our orbit. In fact, we're gonna get to the moon at 136, hit apoapse, and actually return to Kerbin within the atmosphere. Oh, nope. I want to try and get that atmosphere capture a little higher than 36. Let's shoot for 45. 40 is close enough. And now we just wait. We can just tumble in space. About the halfway point, we'll gather some science. So we're gonna go ahead and gather science here. Make sure we have electrical charge. We do. So we can open this up. In fact, we probably have enough fuel to possibly land on the moon and possibly get back. But that'll be for another time, I think. One mission at a time. So we'll log temperature, log some pressure. It's probably vacuum. Nothing new there. Observe the goo. Can't disembark just yet. Take a look at the interior. We're going to the moon, boys. We are going to the moon, which is right up there. Tell you what, let's approach the moon like this. We'll just speed up time. Oh yeah. We are definitely in space. Kerbin is well behind us now. Yep. And the moon, we are just approaching and approaching. Everything is adjusting here. Oh, that's a nice sight to see. It's been so long since I've bothered going to the moon in this game. Generally, I go to Duna a lot. That's kind of my favorite place to go. To set up kind of a multi-stage mission like that. Docking into space. Things of that nature. But there it is. That is the moon. Let's get the lights turned on. Actually, that's going to drain energy, isn't it? Not really. Okay. So log some data. Perfect. Log some temperature. Great. And I need to remove this cutaway mode so I can see our other modules here. Inoperable. Got it. Perfect. So we got that. Our signal strength is very low. You can see this is the satellites that we were talking about last episode. So you can see our signal strength to Kerbin and such very poor. And so when we go to the moon, I might want to end up launching one satellite, maybe two, just to get this thing orbiting around. And especially when we start working on a moon base, because I do enjoy the idea of a moon base. So let's go down to the periapse. Periapis? Periapis? Sis? I don't know. I can never really say that correctly. And here we are. We have arrived at the moon. Now, in theory, I could just put it into orbit. From the moon, return from a flyby of the moon. So yeah, we're gonna really complete this mission. Get more crew report here. Log temperature. No, we've already used that one. Log temperature. And log pressure. There we go. The moon mission is complete. And now we have the moon music going on, which is slightly more alien-esque, and it's just really beautiful. I love this game. Like, this is a game that I can sit and just play all day and just have fun, because the goals you can set are very much your own. But it's time to end the episode and say goodbye to the moon. So let's go back into map view. And now, work back towards Kerbin. It looks like we missed the moon on our first approach and then came by it on this back end, which is pretty nice. I didn't plan any of this out. You guys did not see any of these orbit lines or anything like that. In fact, I still can't put maneuver nodes or anything like it. Okay, so it took a couple orbits to actually get captured back into Kerbin. I set the descent too shallow, so we didn't get fully captured, and it just took a while for the orbit to fully collapse. So I went ahead and skipped that for you guys, but we're back from the moon, and I think it turned out pretty well. Now that we have the capability to go to the moon, we can do a lot more. We can potentially start planning for a moon base. We can potentially start going to Minmus or what have you, but we gotta, worry about money and things still. So funds are gonna be the priority for a little bit, and then we can start kind of doing more along the lines of what we want. I don't know quite how that works in the long run. Maybe potentially what'll happen is we'll eventually maybe take a contract out that we can trade science data for more money, and that'll allow us to do a lot more in terms of what we want over what the contracts want, and will hopefully provide a good amount of funds as well. So we're just coming in. Now, I wanted to land in water. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So we will be just using our parachute here and hoping for the best in terms of ground landing. As long as we're under or about 5 meters per second, our ship should be able to withstand the impact of a ground landing. But it's just one of those things of you don't know until you do it. We're about 7.6 meters per second. That's pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little worrisome, and I hope the little capsule can withstand it. It can, and we tip over. But that's okay. We didn't land on a hill or anything. We're not gonna go rolling down and exploding. So this mission was quite the success. Now let's go ahead and recover, see how much science we brought back just from going to the moon and filling up our science instruments there and returning it. 305 science, guys. I think that was a very successful trip. Let's see. We got a whole lot of funds from completing the mission as well. We're up to 436,000 even after upgrading all of our stuff. 3 XP gained for Jebediah. He's still only level 1. Now if we go into the R&D center, we can actually go ahead and research a few things. We have completed tier 4 of the R&D center. Now we are working on tier 5. Now tier 5, of course, is going to help us with landing. It's going to help us with more scientific data and maintaining power supply. So we're going to have some actual solar panels going forward. Multiple liquid cool I don't know what this liquid cooling is for. I just don't know. But we have 170 research left. We can get 1 tier 5 research. So we can miniaturization. This is, I guess, for more. We could attach a lander onto a larger ship and worry about that. We can actually get an MK1 lander can, things of that nature. We can get aerodynamics, and we can use aerodynamics to just boost our money and science on Kerbin itself by using planes and things like that, which might be something to look forward to. Fuel systems, that'll just allow us to get to the moon and back more efficiently. We could probably even get elsewhere. The small propulsion and then the heavy rockets, of course. And wow, that's a giant solid fuel booster. Can't wait to start using that. I love solid rockets. They're very just interesting to me for some reason. Okay, tell you what, why don't we'll get aerodynamics. We only need 10 science, so we can use that to get 10 science and unlock something else as well. Turbofan engine, things like that. And if we go to mission control, we have another Explore the Moon contract. So this is landing on the moon and then returning to Kerbin from the moon surface. So that might be a good thing to do. Also, we have Taurus wanting to do it. They want to fly by the moon. That's an interesting contract by itself. We could, in theory, take both moon missions and then have a lander attached to it, but we don't have that unlocked yet. That's interesting. Like, if we bring up a lander, we could do ferry the 2 tourists there, detach our pilot to do the Explore the Moon, and then come back, re-merge with the tourists, and then fly back to Kerbin. That might be good. That might be good for sure. Okay, tell you what, we'll save that for the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. I hope you guys enjoy this series as much as I do. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new. Go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment down below on how poorly you think my flying skills are. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode.